You've just been arrested for DUI, been a horrible experience, and now what do you do? How do you keep driving? How do you start fighting your case? Well, the first 10 days are the most important days after your DUI arrest and in your entire case. So why is that important? You need to drive, you need to get to work, you need to get groceries, go to the doctor's office. So, in a DUI case, I'm going to show you what happens when someone refuses a breath test for the first time arrest of a DUI. So what happens is the police officer will write you a DUI citation. That DUI citation is a full driver's license for 10 days. Administratively, because someone refused a breath test, their license is suspended by the DMV for 1 year. This is totally separate from the court case and is just dealing with the DMV and your right to drive while the court case is going on. So first 10 days, full driver's license. So if you got pulled over for speeding or running a red light and the cop goes, "Where's your driver's license?" you would show him the DUI citation because that is your license. And it is a full license for 10 days. That's where you are right here. Full license, 10 days. Now, there's two options that you can do. One is called waiving the formal review or having a formal review. A formal review is where you're fighting the administrative suspension of your driver's license. That is the most important decision you're going to make in your case. I'm going to explain why right now. And so let's say you want to waive the formal review because you need to drive, get to work, take care of your family. What you would do is you would sign up for DUI school, and then you would apply for a hardship license with the DMV. DUI school is going to run you about $325. The application is going to be $25, and then the license, I believe, is about $180. That's going to give you a hardship license for the entire year. Now, what does that mean? That means you can drive to the doctor's office, to work, on the work driving, school, groceries, church, the basic necessities to run your life. Now, there's a lot of gray areas in that definition, so you need to talk to a lawyer so you can get the full explanation for it. I'll put up the definition, we'll put it in as a cut so that you can read it yourself. And you can see it's not that specific. The DMV takes a position that that applies to the hardship of you. And this is crazy, and I don't know where it comes from, but the DMV's interpretation is that if you're driving your car and there's somebody who has a full license, your wife in the passenger seat, the DMV says that's not a hardship and it doesn't qualify for hardship driving because your wife has a full license and she should be driving. I don't agree with that, but it's a gray area and the definition really doesn't cover it. But that's sort of the problem with it. But it does give you a hardship license for the entire year. But that's while the court case is going on. And that's one way to do it. As a trial lawyer who's trying to win your case, there's potentially a better way. And that is where we talk about waiving or actually having a formal review. So there's a better way, and that's to have a formal review. So instead of waiving the formal review, you actually have a formal review. Starts out the same way. Full driver's license for 10 days. That DUI citation is your license. The reason the DMV has given you 10 days is so that you can make this decision, you can get your affairs in order, figure out what you're going to do, how you're going to get to work for the next year. So what the formal review, though, is you go down, and if you hire me or a lawyer, the lawyer should do it. It costs $25 to apply for the formal review. And what you're saying is, I am fighting this 1 year suspension of my license by the DMV. Again, this is not the court, this is the DMV doing this. So you get a temporary permit for 42 days. And the way a temporary permit works is the same as up here with the hardship license. They call it a temporary permit because it's only good until the formal review decision is made when you're fighting the administrative hearing. So again, that was the doctor's office. That was for food, work, church, basically. That's what the hardship license is good for. That's what this is good for here. Why is it so important to have a formal review? This is where your case is won or lost. It's that important. A lot of lawyers are going to try and talk you into the waiver. They go, man, you got to drive. You got to go waive it. You got to drive. You know, you can't be without a license, which I'm going to explain. So they try and talk you into the waiver. But the better way is a formal review if you can risk no driving for 90 days. So what happens at the formal review, there's an actual hearing and the lawyer gets to bring in witnesses. The police officer who pulled you over, the police officer who did the field sobrieties, the DUI investigation, the breath test operator who gave you the breath test, the agency inspector that was in charge of maintaining and making sure that the breath test instrument was working correctly. That machine breaks all the time. We just did a video the other day about the problems we found in Polk County on 2 different machines, 2 different police agencies. And where do we get that information about the machine being broken, about problems with your case? At the formal review. This is so important, it's unbelievable. We did one yesterday, and the police officer comes in and goes, there was all these RFI problems, radio frequency interference problems. And what that means is that signals from a cell phone, from a Wi-Fi router, those can interfere with how the breath test machine works. And what he said is he had 4 of those on our client. And he's like, I don't know what was causing them, but I just kept giving breath tests until the machine didn't tell me it was RFI anymore. That's gold. That is gold. That's going to make my client's case so much better, because even though he blew over the legal limit, he did it on a broken machine. But we would not have that information if it was not for the formal review. We get to bring in those witnesses and ask them specific questions. Bonus, the prosecutor's not there. We do them over the phone, and we get to ask without the prosecutor finding out the problems in their case. We can get an audio recording, we can make a transcript of it, and these police officers and witnesses are under oath. And so anything they say, we can use it later in court if they try and change their story. Now, here's another thing that makes a formal review less important. If there's a video in your case where the police officer has dash and body cam, the formal review is really not as important because you have the video, and who cares what a police officer says? Oh, he was swaying. Really? We'll look at the video. Oh, he couldn't stand. We'll look at the video. But if there's no video, it's really, really important for you to have a formal review so you can get the information. You're getting this information. Remember, the hearing's held within the 42 days. You're getting it at the beginning of your case. So you know what defenses you have. You know what's good in your case, and you know the bad facts in your case, so you can figure out, how am I going to address those bad facts? A lot of times clients come in and I go, man, this police report looks really bad. And they go, can I win my case? I go, I got to see the video. And then I'll ask talk to the client a little bit more about it, and he'll go, oh yeah, but I got a bad knee. I had surgery on my knee. He didn't tell the officer, or he has pins in his ankle. Those are things that are going to help us turn it into a good case. But doing the formal review gets us the opportunity to start developing the defenses and what's going to work in the case. The other thing, though, is that even if there's a video, Polk County Sheriff does not do video. Lakeland has video. Hillsborough County has video. Different agencies have different policies. Here's what I'm seeing that's happening and why a formal review is important no matter what. What if the camera breaks? Then you don't have the video you thought you did. Or because everybody's switching to body cams, only the DUI officers have dash cams. So your driving pattern might not be captured on camera. And that's why the formal review becomes important, because you want to know what was wrong with your driving. When it comes to a DUI investigation, there are 24 clues an officer looks at for vehicle in motion. What does that mean? There's 24 things an officer's trained to look for to determine if someone's drunk driving. For example, weaving, crossing lines, driving below the speed limit more than 10 miles per hour. So if there's no video of the driving pattern, you need the formal review. You need to know what the witnesses are going to say. Let's say a police officer comes to the scene of an accident and he says, oh, your client was drunk and fallen over, and there's two lay witnesses who were at the scene going, client was fine to me. I didn't think your client was impaired. What? They arrested your client? That's crazy. You don't know that until you get to here. And that's why this is so important. Now, for an attorney, it's a lot of work because you have to sign up for the formal review. You have to go down there. You have to get the police reports. You have to review the police reports. You have to do draw up subpoenas. Then you got to send the subpoenas to the DMV. Got to get the DMV to send you the subpoenas. Then you got to send them to your process server. Then your process server's got to send you the returns back so that you can prove they got served. All within 30 days. It's a lot of work. So if you're a lazy lawyer, you're like, hey, waive your formal review so I don't have to do work. Well, that's my job as an attorney, and I want to win your case. To do it, I need information, and this is where I'm going to get it. So these happen quick and fast, but that's good for you. Now, what happens, this is the bad news about waiving a formal review, especially in a refusal case where you refuse the breath test, or if they ask for urine and then you refuse that. So a lot of times what will happen is if it's a DUI drug case, the police officers will give someone a breath test. They'll blow 000, triple zeros, no alcohol in their system. And they go, well, we want to give you a urine test now. And the person refuses a urine test. Same thing, that's a refusal. It's not just breath tests, it can be urine tests also. So the bad news on the formal review is if you lose 90 days, no driving. That's what we call a hard suspension. This is the problem when I tell my clients, this is so great for you, and they'll be like, man, I love it, I want to do it, you know, get my case prepared, show the mistakes. The problem is when you're doing losing, and we lose the majority. I used to win about 25%. I'm winning about 10%. The DMV's goal, it's kind of like The Simpsons, where you see, what's their name, Marge's sisters, and they're just there to take away your license. Reject, take away the license, you know, oh, you're a DUI, you know, you're guilty, right away automatically. That's not the case, but the DMV is trying to take away your license. And so it's hard to win, and you have to expect to lose the hearing. Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you, I have a hard time winning these things. And you have to expect to lose because you need to be able to, if you're going to do it this way, to go 90 days without driving. And some people say, Tom, you know, that's the way I'd love to go. I just can't. And so I'm going to waive the formal review because I cannot risk 90 days of no driving. Now that's okay because there's other ways to get the information. There's other ways to win your case, throw out evidence. It helps to have it tremendously, but it's not the end of the world. But it is a better way to go. And I understand. You got to do what's right for you. Now the other thing about the formal review is that you can get a transcript or an audio recording and use it later in court. So a lot of lawyers, they don't want to do it that way. You want to know the dirty little secret to that? They might not be that good. They might not know what they're doing. And you're going to find out quick when you listen to that audio recording and go, hey, who did I hire here? Because that didn't sound like a very good case. I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes I have a problem. I do a really good job. I give my client the copy of the transcript, and they go, holy cow, no way we can lose this case. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I did a really good job. We got a lot going for us, but there are problems with your case still. But It just depends. Every case is different. But that's why a lot of lawyers don't want to do this, because they don't want you to know they're not the greatest at it. But here's the major other bonus to doing it this way. If you win the formal review, you get a full driver's license back, and there is no mark on your driver's license. That is huge. One is you get your full license back, so while the court case is pending down here, this is your court. While the court case is going on, you get to drive wherever you want to. It's as if the arrest never happened as far as your license is concerned. That's big. The other reason it's big is there's no mark on your driver's license. I did it in green and red. You know why? Because it's a Christmas present. Because if you ever get arrested for DUI again and you lose a formal review or you waive the formal review, the second time you're arrested, it's now a crime to refuse the breath test. That's why when people go, hey, should I refuse the breath test? When they ask a lawyer, we generally say, every lawyer will go, oh yeah. Well, no, not so fast. Whether you should refuse the breath test depends on, do you have a prior DUI and a prior refusal? Because if you got a prior refusal and you refuse the breath test again, you got huge problems, and we're going to put that up in another video. But there is no mark on your license, and that's a huge bonus. Down here, you're going to be able to go get, after the 90 days, you can get a hardship license. And again, you do it the same way you did originally. So that's the problem, is this 90 days of no driving, where when you're making the decision, you have to balance what's right for your lifestyle. But this is just huge. There's just so many cases I've won or got evidence thrown out of court because we did the formal review. And it also allows you to make better informed decisions what you want to do in court. Now, when you get to court, this becomes a 6 months driver's license suspension if you're convicted of DUI. So if you're convicted of DUI, it's 6 months, but it's going to run concurrently with the administrative suspension. If you waive the formal review or you lose the formal review, what you want to do is get your court case taken care of, so those suspensions are running together. You want to kind of get to court quicker, get to trial, get to resolution quicker. If the case is reduced to reckless driving, there would be no court suspension. So if you won the formal review, you did it that way, and there's no mark on your license, and then your court case is, not guilty, we got 10 of those in a row, or it's reduced to reckless driving, you look at your driver's license and someone would not know that you got a DUI. There's no mark for refusing a breath test, and all you got is a reckless driving. This is why the first 10 days after your DUI arrest is the most important time in your case. This is your time to drive and make a decision as to, am I going to do a waiver or am I going to do the formal review? Because when it comes to court, it's going to make a huge difference on the outcome of your case. So remember, call a lawyer right away, ask them intelligent questions. They should be able to explain this, the advantages and disadvantages of which path is right for you, so that you can get the best result and win your case.